In today's video, let's take a quick look at the zip code 97229, Northwest Portland, Oregon, which is known as Bethany Forest Heights. It actually includes North Plains too, but mainly focusing on the zip code itself, which represents the Bethany and the Forest Heights market mostly. Hey, welcome back to Shawn Realty Podcast. This is Shawn Yu from Portland, Oregon. And I'm going to also cover not just the market trend in 97229, but I'll talk about the median home price and when's good time to sell, and the average price for square foot that you can apply to get a just general idea of what your home price is worth in the current market. Also, I'll share one listing. There's one sold but not the listed listing, and we'll take a look at that together. Let's see, what else do I want to cover? Like, how much does it cost to sell a house in Portland, Oregon right now? So I'll cover some basic information and pack into a short video. So let's look at just overall. In the last 2 weeks, single family homes, there have been 35 active listings, 26 pending, 18 sold, 1 sold not listed. So total about 80 listings happened in the last 2 weeks. Let's look at the highest list, 3.65 million. Lowest is $560,000. On the active listings, the average list price for square foot is $340. So that is just for active. Before, this doesn't separate pending or sold. Let's look at the pending. 26 pending. High list is $1.65 million, just went under contract. Lowest one is $525. The average list is about $875,000. And then the average list price per square foot that went pending is $329. So you can safely say in the last 2 weeks, or the listings that were listed 2 weeks prior to, list price to pending ratio is $11. Yeah, is that right? Math. $11 lower than the active price. So you can say that there might be some price decreasing, maybe price negotiation happening just a little bit. And then the sold, 18 sold. The highest sale is $1.26 million. The lowest one is $565,000. And then it again goes lower than the pending, right? So you can kind of see 340, 329, and 323. So if you look at about $17 lower than the list price, I can't do math that quick, but basically a few points lower, a few percentage lower than the asking price. That's what they're selling at the end. So when you see the pending is higher than the sold, that means they probably did some a price negotiation on the repairs. Not probably, but most likely the agent's commission, now that the buyer's agent's commission has to be negotiated into the contract, so that will reflect that. And then there's one sold not listed. So this is one thing that I always talk about in social media, is that when you don't list, when you do pocket listing, or what they call the private listing, you don't get as good of offer. And sometimes these I see often the house flipper just buy and then they just put it on MLS on a previously listed by another agent. So sometimes they do just to, after sale is done, just enter into to get the credit for the MLS, so the listing agent can say, hey, I sold this property. So you can see the big difference. We'll take a look at which house that might be. So now this price is $465,000. Let's take a quick look, and then I'm gonna cover some of the other topics that I said I was going to mention. And let's just look at medium. Yeah. So 465. Which one is that? Oh, it's loading still. Let's see. 465. Sold, not listed. Here we go. So it is a fixer house on Northwest 131st Avenue. Quick look at, yeah. Okay. So it looks like, oh, it was a cash sale. 1966 fixer with 0.21 acres, 4-bedroom, 2 baths, 1645 square feet. So it's a pretty decent size home, good lot size, but it was a fixer. It doesn't have a picture. Let me see if I can, yeah. Anyways, in my opinion, I mean, if this was actually, I don't know when it was listed. Let me take a quick look. I'm going to have to, yeah, you guys should be able to see this because I opened up, well, you just saw my login info there, which is fine. Without giving you the private remark, I'll do full so I can see a little bit more. Let me actually change it out so that I don't show the private, and I'll tell you what I can share in the private. You know, I don't want to get in trouble by sharing the private data. Give me a sec here. All right. It doesn't have much information. It basically says off-market sale. So yeah, it has listing agent and everything. How long was it listed? I don't know if I saw this one. So it's sold within like 3 days. Yeah. So it was listed on April 4th, and then it was sold on April 7th. So my guess is that they probably had some photos and then they just took them off, or they just did the minimum listing information. But anyways, yeah, and let's talk about the 97229. Let's see. We talked about the average price per square foot. So $340. If you apply that to your total square footage, you may get a rough idea. That's going to be probably more accurate than the Zillow estimate or one of those things. If you do the, I think a 323 or 324, so that's the sold price. Let me go back. Well, it's going to take some time. So if you apply that $320 per square foot on your square footage, you're going to get a more safer, more accurate, the sale price. But that's average, right? It's so talking to a local realtor. I mean, if you actually live in 97229, I live in 97229, so give me a call. I offer a 20-minute free consultation. I'll give you more accurate, way more accurate home pricing for you in case you're maybe thinking about, you know, like refinancing or maybe selling or anything. I mean, I don't charge, so why wouldn't you? Call me. Let's see. Steps to sell a house. I mean, the first thing that I would think about selling a house is thinking about where you want to go. I'll just sit down with your family, your spouse, and say, where do we want to go? You know, if we sold this house, and go from there, and how that's going to change your life. That's the most important thing. And then the next one is like talking to people like me, you know, realtors, and see what you can get for, what you can buy. Right now, you know, probably the bridge loan is one option, but you have to be able to qualify, you know, both homes to move. So what it means is that you should be able to, you know, afford your current home mortgage and the next home. Then you can buy first and then move into it and then sell later, or maybe simultaneously. That's one of the hot topics right now because of the lock-in effect right now. Anyways, seller's commission rate, obviously, I can talk about that here, but, you know, right now when you list in Oregon, The only thing that you are promising to pay is your listing agent's commission, whether that's 1%, whether it's 3%, whether it's 5%, but you're only committing to pay your listing agent's commission into your listing contract. And then the buyer's agent's commission will be determined when the offer comes in. Nowadays, the offer form includes the buyer's agent's commission in the offer. So here's a offer price, or money down payment, and then you go down a little bit, and then there's buyer's agent's commission. So you basically negotiate that. Before the NAR settlement, your listing agent negotiated that in advance before you even list. So buyer's agents didn't have to negotiate that. But that's what a big change that happened last year. And it's so far it's just working out fine, kind of like before. There's no big changes. Maybe commission rate might be going down just a little bit, but not by much from my experience. Let's see, disclosure required. Home inspection checklist. What else would you like to know? If you would like to know more about certain questions, just let me know. How much are the closing costs for the sellers? So basically, majority of the seller's cost is going toward the agent's commission, and then a half of escrow fees, and then the sellers are required to pay the title insurance, and then a few $100s like processing fees and the transfer fee in Washington County. Now, 97229 Washington County, except for the forest heights, you're going to pay that. I think it's $250 transfer fee. So I hope that covers. The video went a little bit longer than I was hoping for, but I hope that you find this helpful. If you have any questions, if you want to know your home value, if you want to know about when's best time to list based on your specific neighborhood, how to prepare for a home, and especially if you've already tried to sell and you couldn't sell and you're thinking about hiring a different agent, I actually focus on the business, so I know how to sell homes that other agents may not be able to sell. But if you have any questions, please leave a comment or call me at 503-515-4499, and I'll see you on the next video.